Hello and welcome to my latest video. So it says HTML elements have opening tags like h1 and closing tags like h1. So a backslash with an h1. The text an element will display goes between its opening and closing tags. Change the text in the h1 element below from hello world to cat photo app and watch the change in the browser preview. So it says hello world. Oh, it says hello world here. So when you're done, press the check your code button to see if it's correct. So what we need to do is change that to cat lowercase uppercase C, lowercase a and t, uppercase p, lowercase everything else, uppercase a. So cat photo app or it won't pass. Okay, submit to the next challenge. So from H1 to H6, so H1 is the biggest, H6 is the smallest. So as you can see, H1 is the most important heading, which is the biggest, and H6 is the least important, which is the smallest. Only use one H1 element per page and place the lower importance headings below higher importance headings. So below the H1 element, add an H2 element. So H2, we are shift and the key next to the M, and shift and the key next to the M, and put H2 in between it. Then we've got a shift, the key next to the M, less than sign, backslash H2. This is where we're closing the H2, so in between there we put, so below the H1 add an H2 element with the text cat photo app. So cat photo apps, make sure it's lowercase and uppercase or it won't pass. The P element is used to create a paragraph of text on websites. Create a P element below your H2 element and give it the following text. So I would just copy and paste that. So Control C, highlight it, Control C, and the P element is used to create a paragraph on the text of websites. Create a P element below your H2. So again, it's shift less than P greater than, and then Control V to paste it in. Again, shift less than backslash P greater than. So commenting allows you to leave messages without affecting the browser display. It also allows you to make the code inactive. A comment in HTML starts with this exclamation mark, 2 dashes, contains any number of lines of text and ends with dash dash greater than sign. Here's an example of a comment to do remove H1. So to do remove H1, this is just an example code. Add a comment above the P element with the text. To do, add link to photo apps. So we'll just copy and paste it again. Control C, highlight it, Control C, and add a comment above. So above the P element. So it's shift less than sign, exclamation mark is shift and number 1. That's shift and number 1. Then dash dash is next to the 0, Control V, and then dash dash 0 again, and the greater than sign, and then everything becomes a comment. Submit and go to the next challenge. This is on freecodecamp for anybody that doesn't know what it is. So it's on www.freecodecamp.org. In fact, I'll show you. So www.freecodecamp.org. Right. So, and then you need to sign up for it, but it's free. So HTML5 has some elements that identify different content areas. These elements make your HTML easier to read and help with search engine optimization and accessibility. The main element is used to represent the main content of the body of the HTML element. So basically what you've got is, normally in a HTML it'll be head, so your head will be first. No, sorry, your HTML will be first, then it'll be head, then it'll be a body, and then it'll be a footer. So the main element is used to represent the main content of the body of the HTML element. Content inside the main element should be unique to the document and should not be repeated in other parts of the document. So main, and in between that's H1 and a paragraph. So identify the main section of this page by adding a main opening tag before the H1 tag. So again, we just do shift less than main, MAIN, greater than sign, and then below that, so shift less than backslash main tag. So we're making a main tag and a closing main tag. And then we'll go into the next bit. So in the previous step, you put H1, H2, comment and P elements inside the main element. This is called nesting. Nested elements should be placed 2 spaces further to the right of the element they are nested in. This spacing is called indentation and it is used to make the HTML easier to read. When I read that the first time, a way back, I didn't really understand it, but nowadays, so I'll let you know what it means. So here, well, what I think, what makes it easier actually. Here is an example of nesting and indentation. So an example code, so main, so for there, you've took it in 2 spaces. So 1, 2. It might sound simple when I've done it, but when you try and do it at first, you'll understand. So main, 2 spaces in, 2 spaces in. So the H1 element and the H2 element are indented 2 spaces more than the main element in the code below. Use the space bar on your keyboard to add 2 more spaces in front of the P element so that it's indented properly as well. So again, it's just 1. Oh well, just 1 then. I thought it'd be 2. So obviously it's saying, because they've obviously moved it 1. But anyway, you can add images to your website by using the image element. Oh, I mind I tried this. Right, IMG. So IMG elements have an opening tag without a closing tag. An element without a closing tag is known as a void element. Add an image element below the P element. At this point, no image will show up in the browser. So basically this is just a basic browser, a basic web page, but later on you'll have CSS, you'll have JavaScript, SQL, etc, etc. But this is just a basic, just to get you like basically crawling first. So you'll crawl first, and this is the crawling bit. Then you'll be walking, and before you know it, you'll be running. But it takes a lot before you get to that stage. Right, so you can add images to your website by using image element. Image elements have an opening tag without a closing tag. An element without a closing tag is known as a void element. An image element below the P element. At this point, no image will show up in the browser. So what we're going to do is IMG, so a less than sign, IMG and a greater than sign. That's what we're going to do. Now, so HTML elements, HTML attributes are special words used inside the opening tag of an element to control the element's behavior. The src attribute in an image element specifies the image's URL where the image is located. Here is an example of an image element with an src attribute pointing to the freecodecamp logo. Right, so sometimes I get this wrong, sometimes I get it right. So here we go. So if you get it right, good luck. But if I get it wrong, then we'll be snicker. So example code. So inside the existing image element, add an src attribute with this URL. So again, you just highlight, Control C, and then space src for source equals 2 inverted commas, and inside that you put that, and then you'll see that. But this is no your photo, this is a photo that's on the database of freecodecamp. So if you want to do this yourself and use another image, you can just use your own image and just make sure it's between the two inverted commas. And if you don't know what I mean, leave a comment below and I'll certainly show you what I mean. Because I'm doing this in a Chromebook, so it's not in a computer where you store your photos in your hard drive kind of thing. Or your SSD these days. Right, so I've got that right. Right, we're moving on. So all image elements should have an alt attribute. The alt attributes text is used for screen readers to improve accessibility and is displayed if the image fails to load. So basically, if somebody can't see it, or if here is an example of an image element with an alt attribute. So inside the image element, add an alt attribute with the text. So if people can't see, they can actually read the words. That's all the alt attribute does. So for the greater than sign, just before the greater than sign, put a space and put ALT, which is for the alt attribute. So basically, I think it means alternative. So there's an alternative to instead of seeing the photo, you'll see words and it'll describe what it. So if you're blind or whatever, so say you're blind and you can't see that photo, then it's going to describe what it's showing you. So inside the image element, add an alt attribute with this text. So just copy and paste again, because every time I try and put the words down, it doesn't work. So hopefully it works this time. Hey, right, yabba dabba do. Right, so you can link to another page with the anchor element. Here is an example. Right, so add an anchor element after the paragraph that links to HTML. Right, at this point the link won't show up in preview. So Control C again. So highlight, Control C. So a href is a hyperreference equals whatever the reference equals, and that's where the website it will take you to. But you're labeling it inside here. I'll show you. So add an anchor element after the paragraph. Right, so add an anchor element. So an A is an anchor element, like a P element or a H1 element. So A is an anchor element. So A href equals inverted commas again. A greater than sign after the inverted commas. And then don't forget this, because I always forget it. A closing A. So you need a closing attribute, a closing anchor tag. So if you don't have a closing anchor tag, it won't work. So the bit that we copied and pasted with Control V in there, Control V in the inverted commas, but none will show up. Right. So a link's text must be placed between the opening and closing tags of an anchor element. Here is an example of a link with a text to click here to go to freecodecamp.org. So ahref, and the bit we've pasted into it is there, Free Code Camp photo app. And then you can label it, click here to go to Free Code Camp, or add the anchor text, which is cat photos, to the anchor element. So Control C again, highlight, Control C, and in between, just there, right there, add the anchor cat photos to the anchor element. This will become the link text. So when I Control V, so as long as you've highlighted and copied cat photos, Control V, cat photos, you'll see cat photos in the screen. So if you press that, then that's your anchor tag. So normally this link would bring you to another website. It works. This is a link, so obviously it's telling you it's a link. It doesn't work because it would work in any other circumstance if you had like www.google or anything here basically. In fact, 2 minutes, I'll try and show you what I mean. So www.google. I know it's not going to change it because no, it's fine. Right, forget that. Cancel that. But you get what I mean. And then you just submit and go to the next step. So or add the word see more before the anchor element and in our gallery after the anchor element. See, when I looked at that, I was flummoxed. So what you do is you put see more there in a space, I think, and then at the end, add the word see more before the anchor element and in our gallery after the anchor element. Oh, in our, and make sure it's lowercase and uppercase kind of thing. Our gallery, right? Now if this doesn't work, then I can't remember how to do this. Right, so right, you should have see more. Oh, wait a minute, is it a space I'm missing? I don't know. Yabba dabba do. See, that's what I'm saying. If you make a mistake, then it doesn't go, and then you're flummoxed. So we know what we're doing now. So add a p tag. Add p tags to turn see more. So p tag. Add p tags to turn the c, basically the anchor tag, into a paragraph. So again, you just do a p tag. So shift less than p shift greater than, and then a closing shift less than backslash. Make sure you get the backslash in because that's you closing it in any tag. Right, so p tag. Let's see if that works. Right, so we've got that done to a T. Right, so turning the existing cute cats into an anchor element that links to it. Right, so again, copy and paste. So highlight, Control C. So turning existing cute cats. So cute cats, right? So put the cursor there. So we need a H hyper reference, right? href equals, right, and then 2 inverted commas, and then a greater than sign, and then Control V. And if that's not right, so the anchor text should be cute cats. So again, as I says to you, if you forget that, it won't work. So you need an opening closing anchor tag. If I went too quick there, sorry. To open links in a new tab, you can use the target attribute on the anchor element. The target attribute specifies where to open the link document. Target equals _ blank. Opens the link document in a tab or window. Mind it's target equals _ blank inverted commas. So it's _ blank. Here's a basic syntax for that A element with a target attribute. So A, so we've got hyperreference again, freecodecamp.org, and then it's target equals inverted commas _ blank, and then you label it. So when you click on freecodecamp, it will take you to freecodecamp, but in a different window. So add a target attribute with a value of _ blank to the anchor element's opening tag so that the link opens in a new tab. Right, so anchor element. Right, bear with me. So let's see. Target equals _ so that's a shift and the key next to the 0. Blank. No blanky. Blank. Target equals _ blank. But make sure it's just after that. Right, now that you have added the link, you can remove the comment. So we'll remove the comment. So just highlight it, just backspace or delete. Now that you have added the link, you can remove the comment. Right, so here we go. In the previous step, you used an anchor element to turn the text into a link. Other types of content can also be turned into a link by wrapping it in anchor tags. Here's an example of turning an image into a link. Hyperreference equals example link image src alt attribute. Right, and mine, and make sure your anchor tags, I always forget that. You'll see what I mean when you try and do it yourself. Turn the image into a link by surrounding it with the necessary element using, so again, highlight that, Control C, as the anchor's href attribute value. So, to get this, basically we're going to have a shift greater than, less than, so a href equals inverted commas, sorry, and then Control V, and then we'll take that and put it there. So that's that, and then don't forget that. So shift and less than /A. So we're closing the anchor tag and we're using, oh wait a minute, oh I was going to say, that was my fault. I'll go back and do that again, because I might have confused everybody. So turn the image into a link by surrounding it with necessary elements using, so highlight, Control C, copy and paste. So so shift less than a href for hyperreference equals shift and number 2, Control V, and make sure you don't do what I done. Make sure you get this shift and less a greater than sign. So make sure that's pointing to that image. And then, as I say, don't forget this. So shift less than /A for anchor. So we're going to close the anchor tag. Yay! There we go. So you see the picture disappeared because I didn't put that in. So just in case you have that problem, but if you have any more problems, then give us a shout or just leave a comment below. Before adding any new content, you should make use of a section element to separate the cat photos content from the future content. The section element is used to define the sections in a document, such as chapters, headers, footers, or any other sections of the document. It is a semantic element that helps SEO and accessibility. So section H2 between H2 in the paragraph, and we're sectioning it off. So we're sectioning it with a section and a closing section tag. So tag your H2 P element and your anchor elements and nest them in a section. So your H2, so cat photos you don't need. So 1, 2. Oh, I'm going to put main, but it's not section. So section, your H2, your P element, and your anchor element. So section, right, sorry, and a / there because we're closing the section. Right, so it is time to add a new section. Add a new section element below the existing section. So we've done that section and we've closed the section. Now we're going to have a new section, basically a new bit of the so again, just the same, but an open and closing. So an open section and a closing section with a /. I think that's all we want to do. Yes, so that's all we want to do there. So within the second section element, add an H2 element with the cat lists. So copy and paste that. So Control C, sorry, and in the section, well, ignore that. We need a shift less than H2 shift less than a / H2, and in there we could do Control V and I'll put cat lists, or you can type it, whatever you find easier. So as long as you've got a section and a closing section, an H2 and a closing H2, cat lists, then we should move on. Right, I'm going to cut it there and do like 20 steps at a time. So thanks very much for watching my latest video.